I'm starting, but listen. Wait and see if you can hear this. It's so fucking loud. Like it just keeps going and going and going. Like it's supposed to be an airplane just going over us. I mean, you probably can't hear it as good. It is so loud. Oh my God, I cannot believe how loud. And somebody asked me, yeah, I always am playing the binaural beats in the background. This is 432 hertz. I try and turn it off of the theta waves because I feel like, man, if somebody's listening to me, they could be getting those waves and it could just put them to sleep. Put you in a meditation. So, like, oh, I think I should put on these other ones. So this 432 is about healing. So I put that on a lot. It's almost always, this is almost always on in my house. If you ever come in, it's almost always on. And, but while she's sleeping too, to try and help. And so I have been thinking kind of, well, I've been trying to pay attention. So I went on and looked about the one medicine, the horse stuff, horse paste that I've been giving her. And I saw it's a treatment also for cancer. Like, what? I didn't know that. And so the turkey tail, the Sayak tea, and this horse paste stuff, it all treats the C word. And also with the bone kind, which I was watching, and she definitely is like really bothered by this one paw. But she always has been licking both of her front paws. And so I always figured it was just like the aching, because I get aches all the time in my hands. And so I always figured it's just that aching. And, but lately she's just been like going to town trying to lick this one. And so then when I looked it up, and then you get all the scary facts about it. And then, but then when you look up like the treatments and stuff, what's working for people, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to try all these things. And so then when I saw that the horse paste was back, that they're using that, then I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to give it to her every day. And then I also saw her get all upset. She keeps getting all upset with her one back leg too. And the cyst on her back that had gone out now has started filling back up. And so I was like, oh my God. Yesterday I touched it and it just squirted out stuff. I was like, whoa, jumped. And then I think it scared her, but I don't know. Maybe it bothers her when I touch it too. I'm not sure. It just seems like she's got a lot of things bothering her. That's why we got up. Is that one? So I think she had medicine like at 6, but it's always like around 1 or so that sometimes it's sooner. Sometimes it's like all fucking night. But last night it seemed like, you know, it was all like I was aware of her moving around in the room. I was aware of her discomfort. Plus, I don't know, a new song was making a debut last night. So some fucking song, I don't even know what song it is. Like, I know this song, but I can't think of it right this second. Playing all goddamn night in my head. Different song than the night before. And so then I have the chatter going. And then my brain just narrating the whole fucking thing. Telling me what's going on and all this shit. And then, I don't know, my consciousness going in and out. I fucking don't even know. It's so wild at night. So even when I'm sitting there thinking, oh, I'm asleep right now. It's like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I don't know. You just become more aware of all of the mechanisms that drive you. I have no idea. It just gets weirder and weirder. But so she woke up at 1:30, and then I tried giving her meds. She was way too uncomfortable. She's been in and out. She's had treats. I started a fire, all sorts of stuff. And now she, snoring. So that'll go for a couple more hours probably. But now I was like, maybe it's not bone cancer. Because the bone cancer, it seems it will go in one, because that's why they will amputate it. And so she's still having problems with a lot of them, which makes me think it's probably the arthritis and the inflammation. But still, I'm going to give her all of these different things because I think that we all, God, my eyes itchy now. Like I'm still on the charcoal part though. I start back on that stuff, but it seems like you need to like you can't share one tube. Like one tube needs to be for one person. So I need to get two just if I'm going to give it to her every day. And until when, I don't even know. Because even with the moving and stuff, is like Crystal, I'm so sick of those weather. And I want to go, but it just keeps seeming like something's got to open up. Like something has got to open the door. Like I have the drive. Now I keep having, I don't know, it's like a detachment. Like letting go of this place or something because I love this place. I feel like I created this place and I still have more to do. But just the way everything's going, it's like, is it just, I'm supposed to just let go of all that? And yesterday I was talking to some neighbor. Yesterday I was having a day where I was like, oh my God, I can't believe how psychic I am. Like, dang. Like, I always am noticing because I always know stuff beforehand. I always know stuff right before or a little before. It's always like I'm told something before or something. I don't know how to explain it. To me, it seems like an awareness. It seems like a communication and stuff. So I don't know. But my one neighbor even, she had said something yesterday about that her and her husband had split. And I had just picked up on it. Like I just knew. I could just sense it. I could just feel, even though he was there all the time, and well, on the weekends, even though he would come and stuff, it was like I still just knew. I could, I don't know. And I knew all the way back because it's been a lot split in September. They just haven't told people yet, but now they're going to move forward in the D word. And so now it's more of telling people. Because now they're going to tell their kids, but they haven't told their kids yet. So it's supposed to be like on the down low. It's like, God, I remember all that horribleness. Like fucking splitting up in relationships is so hard. She's very set on, you know, just focusing on her, which is really good. Because then the wood guy came out and I was out there talking to him and I'm just, you know, chatting and he was saying something about the kids and stuff. And I said, well, what about your wife? What is she? I don't know, does she pick them up or whatever? I don't remember what it was. He said, no, I don't have a wife. I said, oh, you don't? I said, well, where the kids live with you? And he's like, no, they're part, you know, they live with her and they see him on the weekends. But he also split up during quarantine. And I was like, man, everybody is split up through. I don't know how many relationships made it through quarantine. It started out where people were just like questioning, you know, what they wanted and people being close together. And, you know, it's all these unions because it's all sorts of relationships, all these groups and everything is all falling apart. And he had a whole long story about his because she was seeing somebody else and his is fresh too. And just talking to him, you know, and I don't know, just an older person, you know, and you're getting divorced, like 20 years of marriage for one person, 13 years for another. And to me, it's like, you've got to take that time because you get lost in there. People don't realize like some of the problems in their relationship is that they're just lost. Everyone's lost. And relationships are built on not on good things. I keep seeing these little like people saying stuff, like videos or something, and like there was one, I think it was a lip syncing one. There's so many lip syncing ones. Like, oh my God, there's so many where people just keep putting, I don't even know, some filters that tell them what their New Year is going to be, what they look like in another world, what they like. It's a zillion of these things. It's like, what in the hell do people have just time to just sit And it just is building. It's like where is this headed? This is wild. And so, let me think what this one was. Because it was, oh yeah, because she said that it was something like, well, I'm good looking. And if you're good looking, maybe we should, was it that shallow? Well, if I look good and you look good and we think each other looks good, that, maybe we're a match or something. I don't remember. Maybe it wasn't that shallow, man, but it was like that same kind of, like I keep getting like that same kind of message over and over. Where it's like, yeah, that's what people really think. They really think like they see somebody and they like the way they look. And then they think, oh, it's got to be a match because you like the way they look. That is a problem in all of our relationships. Because people don't get to know people deeper, at a deeper level. They think it has to do with what somebody looks like. And then to just be, that's a thing to match on. Just like, we like what each other looks like, and let's just give it a shot. We like what each other looks like. Let's give it a shot. Let's see how it goes. It's like, I think that you need to have things based on, like, to me, because, God, this eye is itching me to death. Because I had said something about, because she had said something about, being nervous and being on her own and wanting to try and keep the house. And like, oh man, I remember all that stuff. And it's just like so many things like that people go through, it'll just hit home, like, oh God, that was such a hard time. So stressful. And, but, being a woman who has been on her own for a lot of years now, and I was like, man, it's such a beautiful experience to get to know yourself. And it is, you really get to see who you are. Because in a relationship, you get so lost. You try and please the other person. You get all twisted up thinking they can please you. You get lost of who you are. So when the relationship falls apart, there's this whole, dissembling of you where you have to reassemble yourself. And I made the mistake of relationship jumping. And that is, by the time it gets to the end, then you get hit with all of them at once. But it worked. I mean, everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. It worked for what I was supposed to learn, because it really gave me a big view over the things I was supposed to be learning and growing from the experience. So it made me see. That's why, you can sit back and judge what somebody goes through and think, well, they should do this. Well, if they didn't do that, then this wouldn't happen. Well, if they just did it this way, this would go this way and stuff like that. It goes the way it's supposed to go. And you have no choice over how it's going to go. Like, as a struggle I go through all the time, is a battle with like, okay, this is like a big conversation in my head lately too. It's like, I find myself, I'm in these conversations all the time. It seems kind of like this dark energy kind of just wants to beat us down. And so we'll just keep saying negative shit. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't care. And all of a sudden I'll notice that I keep saying that. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is exhausting. Because it's like that they're trying, I don't know how to explain it. Like, just say negative shit. And so then you gotta, I don't know, it all depends on your awareness too. Because it's sitting there going. And what I'll start noticing is that myself, where I'll be like, yeah, well, I don't care. Whatever, I don't care. And so then, let me think, because there was something else I was going to say about that. With the negative energy, I feel kind of lost all of a sudden, because it starts going into the things that they are lying to me or saying to me, when it's like, I don't care about this stuff. It's like, that is not, but it's like they try and like find into things that they think is going to irritate you or bother you or something. So they will like dig in, because they'll find things that will make you question your own self. But like, I don't know, because everybody's not on the same kind of level. So I can sound real crazy right now. Like, that's why I said though, is it just is, seems like it's more fracturing of your personality. It is even like you just become more aware of so many more things, so many more conversations. Just, you know, who you are is just a part of everything else. It's just like everything, you just keep seeing things different. And then pulling free from this whole idea. But it's very unsettling. It's very weird. I don't know. I'm very uncomfortable. Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. I swear to God. I just feel like I'm all over the place. But I wanted to say about this. So I'm having, I don't know, like all the time, like if the phone makes it a thing, I'll like know who's texting me. Like I'll just know. It'll just come in my head. I'll know things ahead of time and stuff all the time. And so I go through the day just all the time having that happen. Like I can know something's about to happen and it will happen. And so then I was sitting here and the mail truck guy, the little Jeep guy pulled up, and I was like, oh, I don't have a package coming. And so then I saw him put a package in my thing. Stell's out there barking. So I went out there and I thought, well, it must be a package from my mom. And so, because she was sending me something for Christmas. So I was like, it must be the package from her. So then I went out and I picked it up, and I could feel it was something. And I thought, oh, this must be a blanket. And immediately I could see the blanket inside my head. And I knew it was a big picture of Stella on the blanket. And I was like, oh, I bet you there's a blanket with a picture of Stella on it. So then I go and open it, and there it is. It's like, oh. And I was so moved. I was so touched. I thought this was really her. This was, my mom has sent me a lot of English Mastiff things, but she'll send me like a little picture frame or something with an English Mastiff. And this is the first one where, out of the stock English Mastiff, where I was like, oh my God, this looks so much like Stella. I was shocked that it wasn't her. It had so many different things that are just exactly like her face. I was like crazy. I was so moved. I was like, oh my God, that is so sweet. Because I thought she actually got a picture of Stella and had it put on a blanket. And then, I told her how sweet. I loved it. And, but it's a stock photo. She said she didn't even know that you could do that, but I don't know. Yeah, because I think you can do it at the Walgreens. So, and, Rexall, I guess that there's something about, if you have a Rexall drug, that they aren't, they've got, it's more of a division with them, with the pharmaceutical company, because they're trying to do things and help people. So, I don't know. I saw a whole thing about it the other day. And so it was, some kind of treatment that they were offering, and it was fixing people, just like the same thing like with the boron, and so it was the same kind of thing. And so I don't know, the lobby pharmaceutical whatever people start battling or something with them, and had to have them, they start getting shut down or something. I don't know, but anyway, somebody was talking about them, and that if you have one around you, that they are, definitely go to them if you are going to go to a pharmacy, because it seems like they have more ethical than just like Rite Aid or Walgreens or something. Those ones are also corporate owned. What was that too? As I had just seen something where it was like, see, this is the problem with the everything being owned by corporations. But that just keeps coming every day. You can keep seeing the problems. Everything just keeps being more and more highlighted, more and more problems with all these things. And the people just seem to get more and more shallow. Tonight is New Year's Eve. And so I'm sure there'll be a lot of live things. Like I saw somebody yesterday live in Vegas. Vegas is just totally packed. I mean, these people out surfing in this weird wave event, especially when you've got these big things happening across. So it's like the water is, it's like the earth is having a reaction. The earth is moving around. And the people just seemed like to just like snub it, like, huh, like, we'll show you, we can do whatever we want or something. It's like, man, you guys are really, but that is, on all different levels. Like, I don't know what that soul has to see, what it's there to grow from or experience or whatever. But I had seen, because when I had seen the footage of people out surfing, I was like, okay, surely this isn't people surfing at this place with this giant wave. Surely this is some other wave that they're surfing. And then I saw somebody else. This was like a Native American woman who's even written a book about prophecy and stuff. And she was saying, going out there and surfing when the nature is doing, that is, she was just saying the same thing. I can't say exactly verbatim how she said it, but it was like the same kind of thing. Like, how disrespectful of nature. Like, yeah, how you got to see what you're dealing with. And it's just, I don't know. But that is a part of kind of like a surfer's kind of thing anyways, is that combating nature or tangling with nature, or I don't know, it's some sort of a game kind of thing of nature is going to do this, but you're going to conquer it or something, you're going to go through the wave. And all the sea creatures and stuff, plus all the fucking shit going on with all the sea creatures. Oh my God. I have seen so many big things being pulled up out of the water. It's like, oh my God. There's no wonder the water's fucking creepy. And they definitely have signs that there is this megalodon shark thing, 50, 60 feet long or something. There's footage of where scientists have been down looking, and some big fucking creature comes that they don't even know what it is. Huge, huge creatures. And so there's, but I'm telling you, it's like aliens. It's like all these different things have been living in different realities and stuff. Like, even though if we look at it as like, well, that's just a fish, that's just a sea monster, that's just whatever. But it's all consciousness. It's all living beings. It's all an expression of life. And it is, it just is like, I don't know how people just don't value, they don't value other living things. They don't value other ways of life. They're so strictly consumed by an idea of what is like the perfect life or the perfect lifestyle or something. And see, to me, that is a part of this awakening and this awareness. Like all these people like having awareness of what it's been like in other places, in other countries, what other kids have had to go through. But the thing is that they don't have the reference to know any different. They're born into this. They're born into this hellacious world. I saw a guy who was talking about, he rescued, he was one of the people, he wasn't Tim. Like, last I heard, Tim was being arrested and taken down from his position. His wife was taken down from their position. And it's weird. It's like nobody's even talking about that movie or anything anymore. And tomorrow, everybody is saying that there's going to be a lot of shit that's going to go down. Over this day, I guess it would be over this day. I don't even know tomorrow, because it's supposed to be released tomorrow, this list that everybody's hanging on the edge of their seat. Like, there's all these content creators and stuff that are like, they're going live, or people are going to be all over that list the moment it comes out. So who knows what drama is going to go around that. But there's a lot of people who think that there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to go down, trying to prevent us from seeing the list. Like, I don't know, things blowing up, or there's more crime and drama, more distraction, more things to keep people, whatever, No, I don't know. Keep people on the edge of their seats or something, because it is that whole thing. Nightmares is what wakes people up. So we have to go through all these nightmares. And I'll tell you another thing that people are all just keep talking about and talking about is Gypsy. Boy, that has got some conversations going. Like all these people, like you never heard about it, you never knew what happened to her or something. Everybody's talking about it, and she shouldn't have even gone to prison, and so I don't even know. I mean, all these different storylines and stuff isn't for us to go in and decide and stuff. There's a storyline. Uh, it's like a storyline that has to play out. So it's not just her story. It's a storyline. It's like something that has to play out. It's, just like in my life, it wasn't the wrong thing to do to go and be a relationship junkie and go from one relationship to another, to another, to another. It wasn't the wrong thing to do. It was the thing that I was supposed to experience, because that was the thing I was going to learn from. And the lessons that I was going to learn were going to come in an understanding through that experience. And so it's not like you're ever doing anything wrong. The things that you are doing, that there's a consequence, there's another side, there's a part that you are experiencing, that there's a part that you are learning. And so the part that you're experiencing may not be completely in alignment with what you're learning until after you go through the experience. And it may not, it may not make sense. You may be like, it all depends on you too. It all depends on like your victim mentality. If you are sitting there thinking that, the world's always out to get you, nothing goes right for you, then that's how you're going to look at things. And so that is a part of your lessons. That's a part of what you're supposed to be growing and learning and observing in yourself. A lot of stuff is about observing yourself, to understand yourself, to see yourself. And it's not to judge yourself, because you can change all the time. Every single day you can change. There's nothing that you're stuck, that you can't do anything different. It is, and the only way that you're going to do something different is the acknowledgement that you're doing something that you don't want to do. So you have to be paying attention to what you're doing so that you can catch yourself and understand yourself, not just be completely unaware of yourself and then blame everybody else for how you feel. You have to be able to take responsibility for yourself and to understand yourself and to see what things make you feel bad. And if there's ways that you can go around it or look at it different or see it different or heal, go back through your pain. It's like your pain, what is that? It's like a spiral notebook of all of your different pain and suffering events. And go back through all of your pain and suffering and find the one that, creates this trigger so that you can release it. It's all the stuff is inside of you. The triggers are inside of you. People aren't just walking past you throwing triggers at you and they just catch. Nothing can catch unless it's coming in, unless it's inside of you. Just like your inner knowing. Yeah, you have to have your inner knowing to understand something. And I don't think your inner knowing is supposed to be triggered except for at a certain time. Once it's triggered, your inner knowing knows. But until then, you are in this part of gathering the substance to your lesson. So you're not supposed to know everything before you know it. You're not supposed to know it ahead of time. You're supposed to go through the experience so that you can learn it, so that you can understand it, so you can feel it, so you can grow from it. So it all has to do with the expansion of you. But that was like, so when I was going from relationship to relationship, I wasn't doing it wrong, even though people would tell me, that I was dysfunctional or whatever. I've been told so many bad things about myself all the time. It's like, you know, the only thing that would ever be told good about myself was always, oh, you're so pretty, you're so pretty. And it was weird too, is for so long, all the time, when I would be younger, I would sit and stare in the mirror and I would try and figure out, like, what are they talking about? What is pretty? And I kept looking at myself and looking at myself, and all I could see was like weird things. Like I would just, and it's weird because it's almost like you see the things, I don't know, it's like you see the things differently or something. Like if I were to draw you what I felt like I look like, it wouldn't match so much of what I look like. It would be like a distortion. I think that there's so many, you know, because there's such a confusion of being inside of you, because you aren't the thing that is there to represent you. You aren't that. And so there's some kind of a union that has to occur for you to be comfortable in your own skin, which is not even really skin, because it's not really through, like, that's all this flesh and blood thing, but still these concepts. So in order to be comfortable in your own skin, you have to it is like a journey. And that is what really fucked my head up a lot. You know, even when I would talk about how eating and stuff, and then all of a sudden I was toxic, I was anorexic, I was this, I was like, it really jacked with my head. And because you got to go with like how you feel. You can't go with whatever other people tell you. You can't go against your own self. And people do it all the time, but then people are miserable all the time, and people are feeling not seen and feeling it is like it's going from people who are so scared to show themselves out of judgment, but now they're going through this whole thing of like, nobody sees me, nobody understands me, nobody wants to see me. Because, you know, I was going through that, and then I was like, man, now I'm seeing all these other people. I think it's just a part of the process. Part of the process, because it's all of the whole thing about the awakening is going towards yourself. You're going to find the real you. The you that you built up for this game is not the real you. So it's you trying to find you. But I would sit for hours and hours. I would even have people say, what are you doing? Why do you keep looking in the mirror? Be like, I don't know. I'm trying to just see myself. And I couldn't see myself. I couldn't see myself how other people saw me. I kept on thinking, like, it would be confusing to me. Because I would be like, well, why, if I'm pretty, why can't I see that I'm pretty? Why don't I feel pretty? Like, what is pretty? What is pretty? Like, and so it really has no purpose, has no meaning. And so, you know, everything has to do, like, how you feel on the inside. If you don't feel pretty, then you're not going to feel it. It doesn't matter how many people can walk across from you and look at you and see and say, oh, I like how your face looks. I like it. I like how it goes. It looks attractive to me. It makes me happy. It's pleasant. It's pretty, whatever, you know, just like, you know, when you look at a vase of flowers and you're like, oh, well, that's a pretty arrangement. And you look at another one and it's like, oh, I don't know, they should have put that one in there. You know what I mean? It's all just our perception of what we think is attractive. And we all, I mean, go into people's houses. Everybody's house is different, except for there's also a trend. So you get people who follow the trend, but there's a lot of cute trends. And a lot of people who don't know how to decorate so much and following a trend. And especially then you can go to the stores and buy the stuff because it's out there, because it's in the trend. So you can go to some people's houses and find a similarity. And, you know, you can go to several houses and be like, oh, this is a Hobby Lobby house for sure. You go to a house and be like, oh, this is IKEA house for sure. Oh, this is Crate and Barrel house for sure. So, you know, you can go to houses. Hold on, that just really hit my throat. It's like, well, I didn't like that. So you can go to people's houses and be duplications, but still, when you put the whole person out, even if you go in and you find duplications in their design, in their decorating, then, you know, you go in, well, geez, yeah, you could. You could go in and find somebody who's just on trend on everything about them, you know. But that is somebody who's just kind of lost, who's just trying to figure themselves out, you know. And not a lot of people just need the space and the time to figure themselves out. They're just trying to duplicate. They're just trying to be like a cookie cutter. They're just trying to be like everybody else because, well, it's working for them. Works for them. It'll probably work for me. And then plus the whole drive to be acceptable. But people just don't realize that the backfire on that is not feeling accepted, not feeling seen. And, you know, so many people are like, yeah, everybody just wants things for me, but nobody's ever there for me. It's all these people are all keep having the same feelings. It's all the same process to go through. And no matter what they want to say, like there's people who just want to make this about this like a healing journey, and there's people who want to make this like this spiritual awakening or whatever. All of it goes together. And I really got to embrace at this point that I'm not this new spirituality, like 100%. Like whatever my daughter is tangling with, like, oh, she's not spiritual. She's not spiritual. No, I'm not this new spiritual. Whatever this is, I'm not that. And so, yeah, I'm not love and light. I'm not just, you know, pretend like everything's great and just speak things into existence. And I don't know, it's just different. I'm different. And so I look at things differently. And to me, you know, I've been on a spiritual journey. So whatever all these spiritual people, you know, just became spiritual, whatever. I've been on a spiritual journey for 45 years. Because I've got to just say spiritual journey 45 years, because at the point of leaving the church, of actually saying, well, the church isn't meeting my needs. This isn't. But I still went to a couple more out throughout time. I still gave religion a shot. Not religion so much, but the atmosphere of the social environment of people who were like-minded in the desire to be closer to a creator. But you don't find it in church the same. Like I've looked in a lot of different places, and you know and then there was like even when they started doing those big outdoor biker churches in Southern California, and you can go to some of these places, you know, and you feel the excitement, you feel the power behind the people. But it's just the overall church is the problem. Like you can get people together who want to just be, you know, happy and excited about life and focus on their spirit. But that is, I don't know, religion just jacks it up. So I have to think, like when I went up against my mom and I said, no, I'm not, Jesus isn't my answer. And I believe in reincarnation. And that was like, you know, I was like saying, I'm going to go and live with the devil now. And so, and then it wasn't just in my family, it was a whole societal thing. And I know that it's big because this is happening to a lot of people. People are talking about like how hard it is to go against their families on religion, to go against their communities and stuff, all of this shifting around. But, you know, I did it a long while ago by saying, you know, I don't agree with this. I'm going with this other thing, even if it seems wacky. I believe that there's aliens. I believe that we reincarnate. I believe that there's, you know, other beings around. I believe there's souls that are walking around us right when we're standing here. So I believe this place is very different, and it's so different. Though, like the things that I hear people say, it's just like, man, I see this place is so different than how I see it or hear other people say how what they see or what they experience or what life is like for them. And so to me, you know, starting a spiritual journey it's the starting the journey to self. It is, you know, your spiritual journey isn't just, you know, do some ayahuasca. Like I definitely wasn't doing any of that stuff. Well, I still have never done ayahuasca, but you know, it was the And I don't know, maybe it was, having a religious mom that was always bringing up about God or something, but still, it always goes back to, when I was so little that I had these beings or whatever, whoever you think it was, talking to me and having me think through things, having me think of both sides, having me think of repercussions, having me think of consequences, having me look at things in a broader perspective. And so, I've always had that communication. And so, because they were always, it was like their bounce off thing. Like, I'd go to church and they'd be saying something. Well, the other beings would be telling me something different. And I would always go with what they were telling me. I always was going against with the church. And I don't know, that just comes from inside, your internal wisdom or something. And I had the awareness that it wasn't coming from inside of me, that was coming from somewhere else. Because how would I be telling myself things I didn't know? But in the whole idea of your higher self is reminding you of things that you do know. But I know it wasn't just my higher self talking to me, because it was, I've had a lot of different beings talk to me. I've had different beings, different, like all sorts of different. So I don't know. I feel like I can tell the difference when it's my higher self and when it's these other beings talking to me, because I don't know. It's like my higher self, it feels more like where it's like I'll question, talk to myself. It's more of like, I feel like it's more of the one who's sitting there, okay, you're sleeping right now. And I don't know where this song is coming from. Like, because the night before it was a different song, and the last time it was another one, and it just keeps playing and playing and playing in my head. And that could be something that they are doing too with frequency and stuff. There is that one place, I think it's over on the East Coast, but those, the whole community said it's this, somebody reading a book in their head all the fucking time. And they can all hear it. So they do things. I know they do things. That's how they do some of this stuff with MK Ultra. And I don't know. It could be my own brain. That's what I'm saying. At this point, I don't even know. It feels like it's all just, it's like it's all fractured out into all bits of me or something. Like it's not all just a lump thing. It's like I don't know how to explain it. It's like more like I can see it, but I don't know how to explain it. It's like an overall looking at something you don't see as much when you go like, okay, so if you take like a part, like what I keep seeing is like a microphone thing. What I keep seeing is in a school too, but like a thing that they speak over. And so you get an overall message, but then when you take it apart, then there's all the parts inside. And so I don't know, because that doesn't go with the message. So you get the message, because there's an overall message, but there's more parts in the message. So when you go into it more, there's more parts. It feels like more fractured. It feels like, to me, I feel like that I'm in a lucid dream, like I'm in a dream, and that it can just bounce around, and then, but I have like an awareness, like, but it also seems like it's like on this repeat, like it's just kind of get up, open the curtains, turn the music, do this, do that. It just seems like very, like this dream that just keeps going or going. Like it feels disconnected. And my neighbor, she's like cleaning out her house and stuff. She gave me a whole bunch of baskets. I've got so much of her stuff here. So many of her hand-me-downs. This table, this couch. I'm like, she's always giving me stuff. And I'm like, yeah. And so she gave me all these baskets. And it was weird because all summer I kept doing stuff and I'd be like, oh man, I wish I had a basket. If I had a basket to do. And now I have no idea what it was that I kept wanting these baskets for. So I was like, well, I'll take all the baskets, because last summer I kept feeling like I needed a basket for this, a basket for that. So I'll see what it was I needed the baskets for. And then whatever baskets I don't use, I'll give them to Well, a lot of times other people just want them, so we just kind of pass them around, which is kind of better than just giving it to the thrift stores, because there sure is a lot of complaining videos about the thrift stores. I've seen some, which I don't know. There's so many people who are just trying to make money off of Goodwill, just like Goodwill's trying to make money off Goodwill. And it's supposed to be so people can go in there who don't have a lot of money. And so it's like you're supposed to be able to keep the stuff. And people keep going in and taking it to go resell it to jack up the prices so that they can make money off of the things. So you've got all these people doing that. And I saw this girl got this cool ass thing. To me, this is like when you find a treasure and you keep it. But I don't know. It seems like they all just want to sell it. And so she found this Hungarian hand-painted tea set that was all labeled and, you know, whatever. It was expensive handcrafted thing. And it was all perfect condition. And she got it for like 13 bucks. It was all wrapped and she wasn't sure what it was going to be. So she really liked how it looked inside the wrapping, though. So she decided, well, I'm going to take a chance on 13 bucks. Let's just see what I get. And so she unwraps it. It's all perfect, not a chip out of it or anything. And then she went and looked it up, and just the teapot alone is $200. So that's what all these people keep doing all the time. People are all like, go and find the things. And I did that for a while. Like, when was that? It was back in, I don't know, 2012, 2013, when I was going to the bins, to the Goodwill bins, where you just go in, it's just these giant bins. It's not like a store, it's just giant bins. And you go through it, and you can find all sorts of cool stuff. And that became a big resale thing. Like the whole place is just full of resellers. And so I got some stuff, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. This is really cool. I can't use it, but fuck, somebody can use it. I should sell it. But I wasn't doing eBay and all of that. And, you know, I was selling something for like $1 more. I wasn't doing like what all these people are doing. And I mean, the thrift stores and stuff get full of those antique dealers that go in. So it kind of, you know, screws all of the people. So you can't go in and just find these great, cool finds, you know. It's the dealers go in and find them and take them to their stores and jack the prices up. So, I mean, yeah, I see how, you know, it works, but it's based on that negative kind of energy. It's based on an energy that to me is not going to be going forward. And like I said, that to me, the ones who are going like and do an upcycle, so they go get something and then they create something new out of it. Then they're making a new energy. They're putting their touch on it. They're doing something different. And that is the kind of energy I see going forward. The energy of just like, oh, this is cheap and it should be more, so we're going to go jack up the price to get more money out of people. That energy is going away. That whole thing is going to collapse. Because the money, the banking, all of it. And there is, seems like I just saw something else with Nisara Gasara. I don't remember. More stuff with the collapsing thing. There's a whole thing about all these houses that were bought by these hedge funds. Like, it's all to like show us. So we have to see all this stuff. Like, and then it's all going to just keep collapsing. It's like, oh, see, it's going to collapse. But the thing is it's going to lead to something better. So we need the collapse to happen, because it's going to bring in something better. Even though everybody's so scared of having this collapse happen, they live in fear. It's the only thing they know. They'd rather be with an abuser than be with nobody at all. Do you need to go outside, honey? You okay? You want to come over here by Mama? Come right here by Mama? She's kind of limping, too. Just that fucking turkey tail, and see the Sayak. See, I think the turkey tail comes Wednesday, and then the Sayak drops come Thursday. But I'm still doing the Ivor, still doing the boron. I'm giving her all of my tea stuff. that has got moringa, it's got burdock root, it's got a lot of good stuff, dandelion. So I don't know. I mean, you can't just prolong somebody's life. But the hard thing is being around somebody who's in pain all the time. It's like, fuck. It's horrible. But, you know, that's the bad thing, is like I would rather be around her than lose her. And that's where you start feeling like, God, you're so selfish. But to me, it's like, she's got to just die of a heart attack or something. It's going to be really a struggle. Like, she will have to go through, because I will keep trying all these different things. And then it still is going to be changing climates. I feel like that is going to be a big thing. And I feel like that is, well, I feel like our climate's changing. The weather is so fucking weird. And so I feel like our climate's changing anyways, because that is part of the reset, part of the combination of events to occur is, you know, the changing of, it's the whole changing the stage, or changing the whole format that's going on. And so, you know, I feel like everybody's weather is going to get better, but there's going to be a lot of places that are going to be underwater. They're not going to be here anymore, which to me, it could be very well this place. Last night, there was another huge explosion. I was laying there and I heard an explosion. And so then I stop and I start listening. And then there was a really loud one. And then I messaged my neighbor and I said, surely you heard that explosion. And she said, yeah, I wonder if that's, she said, yeah, that was really loud. I wonder if that was something. I was like, well, what's that? She's like, I wonder if it was the tank exploding again. I was like, what tank? What explode? Because there's been so many explosions. And she's always like going on Facebook or something and see, you know, oh, I think maybe one of the explosions, they said it was a propane tank or something. But it's like, well, where's the flames? Where's all the sirens? I think there's something weird going on. Like, there's no fucking nothing again last night. There keeps being explosions, 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 but you don't hear any sirens. You don't see any, like, especially when it's so dark. I've driven through the mountains before. It was in Wenatchee when I was traveling nursing, and I would have to drive out to, I don't remember which hospital, some little hospital I was driving out, rural hospital. The rural hospitals are always short nurses. And so I was driving out to one of them, and there was, I think it was the Wenatchee forest fires, and the whole mountainside was on fire, and it illuminates. Like, there's a bright orange light that comes out. So if some huge explosion happens and it starts a fire, you should see some kind of light outside, especially because it's so dark. And so there's nothing, no smell of anything, no sirens. And so, but there's been so many sirens lately, just out of nowhere, just all of a sudden, sirens, sirens, sirens. I was like, okay, there's got to be weird shit going on. When I drove, where did I go? Oh, I went and got water yesterday. After the wood guy came, I was like, oh, before I pull my car back in, I'm just going to go get water. And there's so much traffic. I couldn't believe it. It was like so weird. And I don't know if it's all people going skiing, but what a crappy day to go skiing. I don't know, maybe it was snowing up there. But it's just like, man, it was so watery and icy it would be. So so I was driving. What was I going to say? Something weird thing on the road. Weird thing that I saw or something. Fuck, I don't know. I can't remember what the fuck I was saying. So explosions. And then the other day when it was just they're sitting up there shooting. It's like, how can they afford this much ammunition? Like, I keep hearing ammunition's super, super expensive. So I don't know how you can just sit there and just shoot it all day just for fun, just at nothing, which is so creepy because it's not that far. There's a neighborhood right here. Because when we walked back there, it's like you would walk back on the mountain and then you'd start walking. And it was like, this is like a dirt road. That's where I started being like, this is where all these people used to live. Where they say there used to be like 30,000 people out here. They were all living up in these dirt roads, up in the hills and stuff. They weren't all living right next to each other. They were living more scattered around, and there's little dirt roads that, didn't have high traffic. It fit like 1.5 cars, so you just pulled over and let somebody pass if there was anybody. But I think most of them it wasn't. So I was noticing that when I was back there walking. And it was like all these little paths off and stuff. And so that's when because I was even talking about it, and I was saying about, I think that there's a lot of hidden stuff in the forest, like where people would live and stuff, and it's like hidden from us, like our hidden history is right there. And so when we would walk back there would be this one part where it was like this open pit. And Stella always wanted to go walk in there. There was tons and tons of spent ammunition, like the casings. So it's the big things, like rifle kind of things. It's not little things. It's those big red things. And so they're all over the place. And then other things, lots of beer cans and stuff. I was like, oh, let's go. I don't want to be up here. This is creepy. Like, this really goes together. Let's sit up here and get drunk and shoot guns. And then the neighborhood's right here. And then this neighborhood's right here. And then there's people walking back there in the trails and stuff. It's like, this is wacky. This is like so wacky. And then, I don't know. It's weird. But so in all these explosions and then to not see anything, it's like, I think that it either is something with the tectonic plates movement, because I keep on feeling things shuddering too. Like where you will feel like, oh my God, the ground is just vibrating or just like shaking yesterday afternoon. And this was right before, I think it was right before the explosion, or it was around the same time, because Stella was sitting here and I was sitting here, and all of a sudden I noticed that there was something on the shelf where it was like, I was like, what in the world? Why is it doing that? It must be like an earthquake or something. It must be something vibrating. So I pause the thing, and then Stella becomes super alert, like barks out. I'm like, shh, shh, be quiet, be quiet. And so I keep trying to hear. And there was definitely something that was like on the shelf, like something was like shaking. So I'm like waiting to see like a big truck drives by or something. But then there was that loud explosion. So I think that there's something either, because especially being by the mountains, they can be in the mountains doing battles, for one thing. They can be, battling something in the tunnel things. And I'm sure there's all sorts of them. There's one place is really weird. Is like, because you're driving down, this is a Kendall Highway. So you can go down Mount Baker Highway, and then you can go down the Kendall Highway. So when you're going down the Kendall Highway, you're going, like, there's a lot of mountains on the side. And then there's parts where you can see, but a lot of parts are just in the trees and you can't see. But there's a part where something will clear. And there's this big part where you would see the mountain. It would be over by where I would go get the eggs from the lady. And I had seen it one day. And I was like pointing up to it. And I was like, what is that? And that's weird. And it looks like this big giant steel door on the side of the mountain. My stomach's just growling like crazy as usual. It's like this regular occurrence every morning. And so it was like this big metal door way up too. It's like you would have to fly in like Batman kind of style or something. Like this, the door opens up and you go in, and then there'd have to be all these tunnels and shit down and going down, and elevators, and then there's probably go down here, some beams over there. You got to go through different communities to get to your creepy labs or something. I don't know, but that's what I think. There's something more weird going on. It could even be explosions up in the sky, I guess, but those ones sound different to me. Because I've heard them when it sounds like up in the sky. And they'll try and mask that like it's lightning or thunder. It's like, no way, that is not thunder. It literally sounds like somebody is running around on the top of the mountain shaking one of those big silver things. I don't know, I think they use them in movies or something. Big long silver thing, and you move it and it sounds like thunder. and it doesn't move right, it doesn't sound right, it doesn't echo right. There's nothing right about it. Man, and then you'd see color, like I'm sure there was battles up in the sky. So I think now there's something going on. Either the tectonic plates are shaking, they're trying to hit something, maybe they're trying to get a volcano going. Like, who fucking knows? Who knows what the hell at this point? Because now it's like they were trying to get things going. I don't know, like, because they were doing stuff, but the stuff was always going to happen. It's like they have to know that. So were they trying to start it sooner? Were they trying to just kill people, or trying to scare people just to get them to pay some taxes for climate change real quick? Like, I'm not sure. Because, man, my stomach it feels hungry too. And so I'm not sure why they would be doing that. Isn't that weird too? Like, when your stomach is growling, like it just made a growl, like a sound like I don't know, it gets in my head too much, like there's creatures living in there. Like, all this stuff just gets in my head too much. I wish I wouldn't have even looked up about the damn ass fucking implant syndrome thing. Like, I haven't gone deep into that. Like, I don't want to. I just want to get these things out of me. I know that. I just want to get this plastic out of me, and I want to get the plastic out of me. I want to keep working on my health, and I want to find a safe place to live that is in a better climate. And right now I feel so scattered. Like, I have these daughters that live over here that they want me to come down there. But then, you know, it really is, they're all busy with their own lives. It's like, that's not going to make my life complete to just, you know, I can go visit my grandkids to just, I already lived like that before, where it was just like, you know, they were all living their lives, and I had to go out and find my own life. And that's, I don't know, part of the emptiness and being divorced and all that stuff. You can't just make your kids your whole life. They've got their own lives, you know. You've got to, you know, get your own life. You got to figure out things for yourself. And that's what I was telling the girl next door too, is like, I think it's better now, from my perspective, is to just spend your time healing. And even if you meet somebody, that you can just stay friends with them. You don't have to rush into a relationship. You can just stay friends with them. But focusing on your healing, to me, then the people who you're supposed to meet, the people you're supposed to align with, they will magnetically be drawn towards you, because you've healed, so you've raised your frequency. So then it starts drawing all of the people, because it's all already set anyways. It's not like something is happening by accident and then it just creates another thing. No, everything is happening because it's happening the way it's supposed to happen. So when you raise your vibration and heal, you pull in people that are better for you, that are like, because you're better for people. Once you heal and you're not toxic, then you're better for other people. So you pull in other people who are better too. So it's like you are, you know, changing the players in the game, where you are in low self-esteem and, you know, thinking that you could be a match with somebody just on how somebody looks, and not, and then think that every single person out there in the world, just anybody, if we like each other, if we find each other attractive, then possibly we should be together. It's like, I think that we've got to raise the bar. And to me, it seems like it works a lot better. Like, if you are splitting up, if you're getting divorced, like so many people throughout this, and so many people are all doing it different, because, you know, like, she's already gone sober a few years ago. And so she's already was living a sober life. But a lot of people, when they get split up, everybody goes into just drinking and partying, going out and being wild again. And so, you know, she doesn't want to do that. But that's like the common thing for divorcees. Like, everybody, you know, go out and party and have fun or something. But things are changing. People are changing away from that kind of scenario. People are being like, well, that's not something I want to do. And so I was like, I think that's really good. Just focus on yourself and focus on your kids, and everything happens naturally. You don't have to go out and search. You don't have to go on dating websites. You don't have to go out and, you know, try and find the one. And I see so many girls, so many pretty girls too. It's weird too. So many pretty girls that I saw this woman who was making this good point, and I don't know if this already happened for someone in their family, but she said, when you go missing, you need some real pictures of yourself. You can't just have all these filter pictures. People can't find you. You don't look the same, especially like if you are, nabbed and you are taken and your hair's out, your lashes are off, your lipstick's all smut, like you're a mess. You definitely don't look like Miss Perfect Filter Face. And if all your pictures are Miss Perfect Filter Face, you don't have any real pictures. They need a real picture of you. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I think that there's so many kids who are like, I think there's so many women, even, that as they get older, they're going to look back at pictures and they're going to be like, man, do I have any pictures of just me? What did I used to look like? They're not even going to be able to remember what they look like. They're only going to remember themselves as this image that they created to portray themselves. Because it all has to do with that feeling inside, It's weird to watch some of these people with the filters. It's like they really start believing that they look like the filter, that they don't feel like they look different. And then it starts messing with my head even. Because then I'm like going back, like, okay, what did they really look like? And I'm going back to find old videos. And be like, okay, yeah, they look tired. They look like they're aging. They look like, and then they go on these filters and there's like no lines on their face, perfect eyebrows. Everything is in, perfect makeup. And unless you move. If you move very quick, then the makeup moves away from your face and always catch it back up. Like, there's so many girls that their self-esteem is wrapped up in these filters. And I don't know. I feel like you got to break free from filters. You got to, start liking your own self. And I get it. I'm telling you, I would spend a lot of time staring in the mirror. And people think like, oh, you're so absorbed with yourself. Because if somebody else thinks that you're pretty and then you keep looking in the mirror, then they keep thinking, oh my God, how many times can you look in the mirror? How stuck are you on yourself? But it would be much more of like confusion. Like I would be sitting there looking at myself and I would just be like, oh my God, these pointy fucking eyebrows, these little fucking eyes, this pointy fucking nose. Like all of the things, I would just like beat myself down, and I couldn't see at all what anybody else would say was pretty. And so that really messed with my head for a long time, for years and years and years. And I know that some people, they see how you act or react and they interpret it the way that they take it. And so they don't understand your insecurities. They don't understand how you feel so strange and you feel like, I mean, there's a reason why there's so many people with body dysmorphia, that their body doesn't represent them. And they're willing to go to whatever lengths, they're willing to challenge science about it. And so it is, but it's the disconnect between mind, body, spirit, because you aren't your body and your spirit is on a journey, and you have to come into this union, this like make it work kind of scenario. But there's so much confusion to it. But I think that is a part of our overall learning, is to bear witness to this confusion part, and to see the absolute necessity of the connection to your spirit, to that side of yourself, and not being disconnected, to go in and try and get that focus to be the part of you that is represented, not the physical. But in this world where it's this physical, and people are constantly commenting on your physical, and that gets in your head. It gets you to be hyper aware of something, where you keep focusing on something. Like somebody could say, like up to me, is somebody say, God, you got long legs. And then I'd be like, I was so weirded out by that for so long. Oh my God. Are my legs freaky? Like, what do you mean? Why are they're long? They're longer than other people. Like, what are you talking about? Like, do they look weird? And do I look like a spider? Like, what are you talking about? Like, everything that somebody will say to you, it will get in your head, and you will become hyper aware of it where you weren't aware of it before. And I don't know, it's just funny because just if you notice that kind of thing. Oh my gosh, my knees are getting stuck. Oh, I can see how I get so stiff too when I get up. And that's what, I don't know, I try and get her to see, like, yeah, it's just stiffness, it's just pain. It's not something that will kill you. Arthritis won't kill you. She cracks me up. But anyways, she's always listening. She's so smart. God, she is smart. God, she's so cute too. When we go outside, she's got to jump up and she's got to run out there. She's got to look around, see if anybody's coming. She's got to bark, make sure, you're warned. You don't come up next to her. And I was thinking, yeah, she's going to be very protective of me. Like, I feed her good. I massage her all the time. I'm always like giving her a little rub in her head and whispering sweet nothings in her ear. Oh, you're doing so good. You're so smart. You're so sweet. So yeah, she's treated like a queen. So I'm sure to her, it's like, oh, don't you fuck around. You fuck around with her, you've got big problems. And so I don't know. I just feel bad about her butt and how miserable she is right now. But that's the thing, is pain won't kill you. But if it's something that is getting worse and worse, like arthritis will, get worse, like it's painful. But also we can change climates. We can get out of this water moisture, and that should help. Just this cool moisture. But see, I keep thinking, well, the climate's supposed to be changing anyways. So the climate should be changing, and again, I feel like everything is, I washed this stuff 3 fucking times. It still smells weird. It's got to be something with the water. And then outside, it's like everything is just weird, to where it's like, I feel like the universe is pushing me in a different direction. But then it's like I'm being pushed in a different direction, but I don't know where it's going. Like, there's not doors opening. It's just like, okay, you're going, but where am I going? It's like, well, you just got to trust. You got to just, wait. The door will open at the last minute or something. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's like everything now, there's something crawling around in my nose. Man, I swear, see, it'll just come out of nowhere. And it's like you feel something crawling around. And it was all that itching by my eye. And now it's there's crawling right here. I'm telling you, there's like these little fucking bot things. And they go in all of the different ways that they can get in us. I swear to God. And just being outside, and the way it just, this drizzle, nonstop drizzle. And as I went and got water yesterday, and another guy, every time these men just pull up, and then they just come walking up. It's like, man, I don't know. As a woman, when I go pull up to the water thing, if somebody's up there, I stay in my car until they pull out and leave. Then when they pull out and leave, I pull up and I get my water. And it's weird. It's kind of creepy how many times that guys will pull over and stop, come walking up. Especially, like yesterday, at least he had a big jug. But when the ones just come walking up just to come fill their little cups and then just come walking up to you, it's like, this is like, seems really aggressive to me. I don't know. But then, I mean, that's kind of also, there's a part of it is shame on me. I should be able to just talk to people. So that is yesterday when he came walking up and he was trying to be friendly, hi, how are you? I'm like, hi. And he's like talking about the rain or something. And I was thinking, he could be just super lonely, just wanting somebody to talk to. Maybe he is divorced and just sits in his house by himself, because a lot of people don't take it the same way I take it. A lot of people feel horrible in isolation, feel suicidal, feel let down and stuff. There's a lot of people who feel really let down by their families, super depressed, super down, super rejected. Like, all of this stuff is what is the part that's there for the healing, the awakening. All that rejection, all that pain, all that recognition of not being seen, not being appreciated. All those things are the things that you're here to experience, to heal, to witness, to see, so that you can see. Because if you can see, you can look at it different, you can make changes. You can be like, well, why am I out there just doing all this stuff for people? They don't appreciate it. Why am I always putting myself out? Why do I get up out of bed to go run and do someone else's errand? Why do it? You got to ask yourself these questions. What are you trying to get? You're trying to get appreciation. You're trying to get love. You're trying to get acceptance. But what you're doing isn't going to bring it. What you're doing is going to bring you somebody taking advantage of you. Because there's so many people don't want to do stuff for themselves. They're kind of lost. Everybody is just kind of dependent on everybody else. And that's why all these rugs, it's like the universe is pulling the rugs out from under people. It's like there's no more of just being dependent and standing on other people. It is, you have to find your own way. You have to figure yourself out. That is what all this stuff is happening for. That's what all this awakening is about. And, all these people think it's about all these other things, but it's about your sovereignty towards your soul. It's about you becoming aware of who you are. And then, deciding for yourself. And there's such a big part of, during this time, this is like a life review, I'm telling you. It is like you have to go back over your stuff, but it's like you get a redo. You get to, redemption. You get to fix things. You get to make a change. You get to see things that didn't work, and you get to go in and do something different. Try something different. Look at things different. And so, because it's so weird. It's so weird because, everything you're doing is exactly what you're supposed to do. You don't realize how big all your lessons are and how they're all contained and controlled to get you to this ultimate place of understanding and acknowledgement. So you don't see it all until you get past it. Once you get past it, like, especially if you get caught up on like what people say about you, and I felt like the things that people said about me for a long time. Like, I didn't like myself. There's a lot of things. And it's a journey, because I feel so differently about myself. I feel totally differently about myself now than I did throughout the rest of my life. And it's like like I said, it's like you get to a point of then owning yourself, of seeing the good parts of yourself, not seeing it as like you're broken, something's wrong with you. No, all those things were good things. Being sensitive, caring, being deep, being willing to go take a risk. All those things are positive things. They're not things that aren't good, but you have to see that, and then you see like the learning journey, like what it was that you were there to learn. Like, I learned a lot through all those bad relationships. It really changed my perspective on, well, I talk about this stuff, but, I mean, people go out and chase these relationships looking for love because they don't know how to love themselves. And you're not going to find the love that you want through somebody else. The only way you find the love that you want is through yourself. Even though it seems like, oh man, and the one girl who's been having this big, I said that she's making this whole public thing about her breakup, get back together, then break up, or getting divorced. Well, now they're getting remarried. Now they're getting back together again. And now all her videos have shifted from all of these, I don't know, her stuff, like, it really is playing out. People are playing out their stuff. If they're on public platforms, they're playing out their stuff. Like, I'm sure if you went through my stuff, there's an overall thing that is being played out that maybe I don't even have the awareness of. But it's wild to witness and see somebody else's. So, I don't know if you can see mine, then it's probably, I don't know if I can see the same things, because you can always see something different when you're watching someone from afar. It's way different when you're inside to be able to see things the same. You've got a distorted view, so you don't see things the same from inside. All micro macro, it can be inside the self, inside the experience. It's always different when you can stand back and see further out. And so anybody who bears witness to anybody else, they can see more clearly than the person themselves. But then so we put pressure on the people and tell them that what they need to do, how they need to do it, and they could benefit. But really, what you benefit from is going through the experience. And so when you get to a certain point, when you see yourself, it gives you a better view. You see yourself more clearly. And, for me, it helped me to be able to see my patterns. I definitely, I didn't love myself. And so I thought anybody who said that they loved me, that was like, I got the key word or something. This person loved me. So somehow I could learn to love myself through this person. But then it ends up going through, well, they don't even know me. They don't love me on the inside. They only love the outside of me. They want the inside of me to just go away. They just want to keep the outside of me. So then that whole thing had to play out through my head. But it all has to do with your lessons through other lives. So you have to go through all these different experiences. You're not meant to skip experiences. You're not meant to figure it out beforehand. You're meant to go through the experience. And that is something that I toy with all the time. And this is something, in these conversations or something. Well, if you just do this, if you just do that, maybe this will happen, maybe that'll happen. It's like, no, you can't focus on that. You can't just focus on trying to make something happen. If I do this, maybe this will happen. If I do that, maybe this will happen. No, you got to just do what you are there to do, and then let the cards fall as they may. Whatever's supposed to happen is going to happen. That's just, it's set. You don't have to do something to make something else happen. You don't have to realize so that you can force it to happen. And there's so much of that in the spiritual talk right now. Like they're all talking in that way of like you speak it into existence, you're manifesting it. They just have a certain way of looking at things. And to me, you don't have control like that. You don't have, it is all set. It's all set. It's going to go the way it's supposed to go. What is meant for you is going to come to you. It's a magnetic. You can't skip it. You can't miss it. You can't do anything wrong. And everything that, if you get too focused on that, then you're missing the other part. The parts that you're just supposed to be experiencing. Because if you keep trying to think, oh, how do I outfigure the game? How do I move myself forward? How do I jump these spaces? If I just figure this out, then I could jump over here. If I do that, it's like, no. I think that is driving yourself crazy. Trying to outmaneuver the game, trying to outsmart the universe. I think there's a part where you got to settle down, settle down, and take it slow, and just realize that everything that is happening is supposed to happen. It's happening for you. It's not happening to crush your spirit, to destroy your life. It's happening for you to learn from. That was 1, 2, 3. And then it was a 3. I don't know. That was weird because all of a sudden it caught my eyes. And I was thinking, oh, tonight is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But keep in mind that this isn't the new year. Don't start your new year stuff. You're still in hibernation mode. The new year starts, I think it's the spring equinox is when the new year starts. It's something, I think it's something around the end of April or the beginning of March. It's all these people who have been putting all this time and effort into the calendars and our history and stuff. So the part of the New Year's resolution failure is because you're trying to start something new when we're still in the dead of winter. You got to start, and when things are blossoming, that's when you start something new. So right now you're still in the part of hibernation, of You know, I think we're still in the part of like sickness and stuff, but we're going to see, you know, I bet you that there's going to be, there's even that whole threat that the New York officials said like a week and a half ago. Nobody's even talking about it now, I don't think. But there was going to be, they felt that there was going to be a threat tonight in Times Square. And then when you see the crowds in Vegas too, it's like, man, you guys make it so easy. It's just like, but there is supposed to be that energy is supposed to be there. They're supposed to be the ones that are there that make it so easy. Is that they're the ones, you know, some of them are just going back home. They're just getting the hell out of the game. And they're not all meant to go forward. Not everybody's meant to go to the age of Aquarius. It's only going to be part of the people, which we don't even know what part. And there's so much drama to go through to get there. So we still have a lot of people who are going to be around us, but there's going to be a lot of drama through this part. So, but it's going to all lead to something good. You know, it's in the lessons part. It's in the learning part. It's in the growth part. It's in the transition part. So there's going to be a lot that's going to go on, but it's going to get us into that shift where we go into a time of peace, of just calmness. And it will be a big difference when people are coming at life through a spiritual lens and trying to think things through on a deeper level, like what they're doing here. Why am I here? What is it all about? What is my spirit telling me today? It'll probably get way more into our society of being like, you know, in the morning, people get up and don't run to the coffee pot. Instead, they run out to their yoga mat and sit and meditate and do their stretches and wake up very differently and approach life very differently. Not just cranked up on caffeine and charcoal, caffeine and whatever, sugar, whatever people keep themselves all cranked up on. And so many people, I just saw a video where somebody's like, you know, I don't know, I think they said Gen Z or millennial or something. Yeah, you know, don't come up to us with your problems. Like, we're all jacked up on tea and, I mean, we're all jacked up on coffee and antidepressants or something. It's like, you know, people don't even know who they really are. People are just accept being jacked up on stuff. Even with the guy yesterday, the wood guy, because we were out there talking and everything, and I said, I always go deep. I always go into things that people are just like, what? And so I was just like, I don't know. I think I was saying something about the rain. And I said, or something about just that they just want to beat us down all the time. And we were talking about money and insurance and tickets and stuff and how it all works together. And I said, they all want to beat us down. I said, I think it's just that all the corporations are owned by the pharmaceutical companies. They want us all on the antidepressants. That's all they give a shit about. So they're just trying to make our lives depressing, make everything blow up in our lives all the time. And so that we'll all go on antidepressants. But I'm a rebel. He's like, yeah, I'm not going on any. I'm never taking any. I'm not. But it is, I swear to God, that's what they just want to beat us down and just get us all on drugs and stuff. And so many people are. And then, you know, but to say I'm so anxious but I'm just drinking coffee all day and relying on anxiety medicine. It's like, you got to do better for yourself. You got to take more action in and for some people, it's so far away from them that they don't even know how to take care of themselves. So you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. And I think one reason why there's so much about health and stuff right now is because it's a good place to start. You know, start taking care of your health. Start looking at things differently, of how to stay healthy, how to take better care of yourself, how to not just be reliant on meds and drugs and stuff. And I've seen some more stuff. I can't think of what it is too. With diabetes, there's a lot of stuff that is natural things that, you know, and all they want you to do is just be on all their drugs. And then they want to start doing all this bullshit with all, you know, taking things off the shelf, having people completely rely on them, take them off the shelves. You can't get them anymore. And then people are all panicking, and it's like, but you got to start getting independent Stop relying on their stuff because this is their games. This is what they do. So you got to start figuring out how to take care of yourself without them. And anyways, you know, it's just all this shifting and all this stuff. So there's just so much more, and it's so micro macro because everybody is shifting at different speeds and everybody's at different places. And some people are so lost, but we do have this, I'm telling you, there's going to be a thing that is going to shift and turn everything the other direction. And I know so many people just think that sounds so wacky. It's not going to go, but it all goes together. It all goes together with the Jubilee, with the Age of Aquarius, with what's going on in the world, with the collapse of society. It's all in this shift. It's all in this change. But then it's also for people who are more understanding of spiritual stuff, because then it's going to shift into this new age, into a whole new set. And so it's the people, I think, that have that understanding are the ones that can direct towards that. Because I swear, there's some aspect of it being that you understand that you're not flesh and blood and you can't die through all this stuff. And I think it has something to do with that. Like being able to walk through the fire, being able to walk out of the fire, being able to just stay in your strength of knowing that you are an eternal being and that this is a facade. And the more that you can get yourself into that way of thinking, the more you can shift towards the Age of Aquarius. But it's not the only way to get there. Like, there's other ways to come into the Age of Aquarius. So it's not like, it shouldn't be a stress. It shouldn't be something where you're stressed. Like, I'm not going to do it right. I'm not going to do it right. I'm not going to raise my vibration. And every time something happens, you're like, oh my God, now my vibration's low. I'm not going to ascend. I'm not going to, no, don't get stuck in all that stuff. Get stuck in the, you know, you're just healing. You're just on your own little journey. You're on your own healing. You're doing it right at the right pace. There's nothing to worry about. There will be jolts. There will be pushes and shoves throughout that will keep you on track, especially if you've got your focus where it should be. Then you will have certain situations that will keep you going in your healing, but you don't have to try and force anything. You don't have to try and make something happen. You don't have to try and do it better or faster. You don't have to ignore things so you don't lower your vibration. No, you need to lower your vibration to deal with your shit, and then it will go right back up, because it's going to keep pulling at you until you go in and give it its time and release it. Otherwise, it's just sitting there pulling at you like a nag. So you got to go in and actually release it and let it go. And it may not go real quick. It may have a lot of things attached to it. Could take months to let it go. Could take all sorts of scenarios, seeing things play out, noticing this, and, you know, see this in a movie and all this stuff, and it just keeps playing out. And then all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I've been thinking about that. It doesn't even bother me anymore. I don't even feel anything about it anymore, because you've released it. And then you can feel better. Like you don't have that nagging pull on your vibration, on your, you know, keeping your focus to keep pulling it back down to something negative, something bitter, something hard, something resentful. So anyways, hopefully I've said something that makes any sense. Sometimes I just feel like it's like all over the place. Like, because I can see this stuff in my head, but to try and explain it, it's like, I don't know that it explains it or not. But anyways, just, you know, so many people are so caught up and so scared and think it's the end of the world, think they're tricked, think all these things. There's a lot of things going on. And the biggest thing is like, yeah, we're in this reset, but it's the awakening. It's an awakening reset. It's an opportunity. It's an advancement. So it's a different kind of reset than has been done before. But resets is just the way it goes. It's the clearing of the stage. It's the starting with the new, you know, a new exciting example of a lifestyle, of an opportunity to go out and feel and discover, and you know, to just think about all the different times in life, all the different ages, all the different experiences. I mean, I know everybody has things where like, whoa, wow, I wish I could have been during that time. I would love to go during that time. That is why your soul is always going in these different times and stuff to go and experience. And there's all this benefit because every experience you have, it is broadens it opens the universe. It gives the universe more knowledge. So there's purpose. There's purpose and design to it all, is the way I see it. But everybody sees things differently. So we'll just got to keep seeing how things play out. We'll just see how things go. But I do think, we're going to get this great time where the money is going to switch. But it's not going to be the same, like where we're all sitting around like a bunch of bougie millionaires thinking that we're better than it. No, it's not going to have the same value. Like when people have everything they need, they're going to see things different. They're not going to feel like, well, I need that to be happy. I need that to be happy. It's going to be different. There will be a more thoughtfulness to it, and things won't be made in these sweatshops and stuff. It will be more substance, like, you'll be really buying like an art piece for a decoration in your house. You won't be just going down to buy a Hobby Lobby something that came out of the factory. It's not going to be so much factory stuff. It's going to be a lot more, real stuff that somebody really created with their real hands. And so anyways, that's what I think. I think that's where we're shifting to, away from, because all that's going to collapse too. It's going to collapse, and it's like, is that where we want to go? We want to go build sweatshops back? That worked out well. Like these people got things cheap, and these people have to work and be beaten to give these people things for cheap. It was like, is that how we want to set up our new society? I don't think so. I don't think so. So anyways, it's just things that, just as like common sense and an analytical mind and an ability to look at things in a deeper way, to figure out what works and what doesn't work, and then to realize that you have the power to create what works. You don't have to stay with what doesn't work. You can put different energy into it. So anyways, I've been talking a long while. So I'll get this one going. We'll see, because this is New Year's Eve. So we'll see 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But hopefully it is just a big old launch off to our new life that will start, money crashing and all of that. And then it'll just start opening doors, and things will start changing and going in different directions. But there's still going to be a lot of violence and stuff. Like, man, it's going to be intense on some of the stuff. And then plus the tenseness that they've got built with all these people coming. Like, it would not surprise me at all if ends up being some street battles with some of these people. They're trying to create some kind of civil war or something. But the people have all got to stay smart, because that's what they're trying to do. Because that's when they want to come in and say martial law, or the UN's in charge. And that fucking Alexa keeps saying that that's what's going to happen. That something's going to go down. The UN, that we're already the United Nations of America or some bullshit. I don't know. You can ask your Alexa if you have one. I just keep seeing people share the videos of more and more and more people. So anyways, but to me, my inner knowing is we're going through a transition, and we're headed to something much better. But we have to bear witness to what didn't work. And we don't want to go back to the things that didn't work. We want to come up with new solutions, new ways of being. And, this trying to make this giant, 100 million people all living off one grocery store or something is stupid. Like, it was never going to work very well. We always had to be more self-reliant. We always had to participate more in what we were consuming. And we need to participate. We need to grow something, be some kind of a part of it. You can't just empty consume, and then look at like what happens to people. Gluttony, obesity, sickness. We have to get back into the participation of what you consume, that you participate in the creation. So, and not just the creation of just go out and get money. It becomes like a worship, an idol. I just saw this guy, and he was a nurse, and he was saying that he worked at the hospital, and then at night he would go and pick up dead people, all different. And he said he went to this one, and the mom had just died. She's laying there on the bed. He's there picking him up. The 2 daughters are just in the living room the whole time he's there, arguing about who's going to get what money, how much money. and who's getting what, and they're just out there arguing and fighting, to the point where he went out and started yelling at him. He was so disgusted. But he said as his career went on, he saw that that's common. That's totally common. That's all the people care about. People don't care about the other people. All they care about is what money they're going to get and stuff. It's really, I saw that part of society a long time ago. But it's, it's sad. It's disgusting. And I don't understand this worshiping of money. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. We just all have our different things. I don't have that. So anyways, I'll get this one going, and I will be back tomorrow if the powers that be allow it. So we'll talk to you then. Bye.